Easter is the time of year where we remember everything God has done since his birth in December. It's not about eggs or the Easter bunny, but it's a time we remember how God was betrayed for money. You see, Judas plays a big role in the story. He's the reason the world witnessed God's glory. 30 pieces of silver, that's all it took for this man to put Jesus on the cross as the whole earth shook. We remember his body that was torn, placed upon his head was a crown of thorns, blood drizzled down his face, and into his hands were 2 nails to hold his arms in place. Ever since the day he was born, he was on a mission to give everyone the chance for free admission. For heaven is his home where he sits on his throne, waiting for you to call God's phone. Through prayer, we can be fully known by God who will not cast the first stone. His life he gave for his sins to atone. Skin ripped from every bone, his love was truly shown on that Good Friday. As the sky grew gray, dark clouds covered the face of the earth. And sometimes we ask ourselves, how much am I worth? And God says, remember my birth, for I was born specifically for you. I knew what I had to go through. I was pierced and crushed for your sins, beaten so hard it hurt to walk on my limbs, whips to rip the skin from my bones, so that by my wounds I could deliver you home. And after Christ died for us, without giving any type of fuss, he was placed inside the tomb, people crying in every room, for they thought this was the end. But friend, that isn't the trend. Buried for 3 days, but death could not contain, and when he'd risen that Sunday morning, only the cloth that was wrapped around his body remained. The stone was rolled away on that resurrection day, holes present in his feet and each hand, so that we would always remember his faithful plan. As the disciples watched Jesus ascend, they knew this wasn't the end, for they would see him later, our sustainer and creator. So every year, we remember what God has done through Jesus, his son. For after his resurrection, the story had only just begun.